India has for the first time set specific LPG production targets for individual refineries and oil companies. Now the move comes after the West Asia conflict disrupted India's LPG imports and exposed how heavily the country depends on overseas supplies. The objective is this: if imports are disrupted again, India wants to be able to produce more LPG at home and keep household supplies running. India consumed around 33.2 million tons of LPG in 25-26, but domestic production was only about 13.1 million tons. That means India had to import roughly 21.3 million tons, more than 64% of its total LPG requirement. And that dependence became a problem when the conflict in West Asia disrupted shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. The strait is a crucial route for India's energy imports. India receives large shares of its imported LPG from countries such as Saudi Arabia, and much of that cargo normally travels through the region. When supplies were disrupted, the government had to take emergency measures. Refineries were asked to maximize LPG production. Some supplies to industrial and commercial users were restricted initially, and households faced measures including longer intervals between refill bookings. Now the government has moved from an emergency response to a more permanent framework. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Ministry has specified maximum LPG production levels for 21 refineries and upstream companies. Together, these facilities can produce up to 63,810 tons of LPG a day. That's more than twice India's average domestic LPG production in 2025-26. And it is equivalent to around 70% of India's daily LPG consumption. But then there is an important point here. These are not necessarily the quantities companies will produce every day under normal circumstances. The targets are meant to apply when there is a shortage or disruption in LPG supply. In other words, the government is creating a domestic production capacity that it can call upon when imports are under pressure. Reliance Industries' domestic refinery at Jamnagar has been given the highest target, up to 18,000 tons of LPG a day. The target applies to its 33 million ton a year domestic tariff area refinery. Its separate 35.2 million ton a year export refinery at Jamnagar has not been given a target under this schedule. Nayara Energy's refinery at Nagar has been given a target of 4,480 tons a day. Meanwhile, 18 refineries operated by public sector oil companies have been assigned a combined target of around 31,470 tons a day. Companies such as ONGC and GAIL, which produce LPG from natural gas, have been given a combined target of 6,460 tons a day. So what happens during another supply crisis? Well, this is where this new framework becomes important. If the government believes there is a shortage or that LPG availability and prices are at risk, it can direct companies to increase production to a specified level for a specified period. Companies will then have to ramp up production within the time prescribed by the government. The government can also restrict alternative uses of certain inputs if that is necessary to produce more LPG. So, instead of starting from scratch during the next crisis, the government will have a facility-wise production framework already in place. The order asks companies to take technically and economically feasible measures to increase LPG production beyond their current minimum producible quantities. That could include technologies that convert naphtha into LPG. Companies can also upgrade certain refinery units to increase LPG output. The government is therefore not just setting targets, it is also asking companies to build the infrastructure needed to store, transport and evacuate LPG at those levels. That means storage facilities, pipelines, rail movement and road tanker capacity will also have to support the specified production. For consumers, the biggest benefit is greater protection against supply shocks. India currently depends heavily on imported LPG. So if there is another disruption in West Asia, a shipping problem or a major interruption to imports, domestic refineries could be asked to produce more. That could help the government maintain supplies for households and reduce the risk of sudden shortages. It is primarily a supply security measure. The government says it can intervene to ensure adequate availability, equitable distribution and LPG at fair prices to all. But the actual price consumers will pay depends on several factors, including international prices, import cost, domestic production, and government pricing decision. During the recent West Asia disruption because of the US-Iran war, domestic LPG production reportedly rose to around 55,000 tons a day at the height of the crisis. As international supplies improved from June, the emergency measures were gradually withdrawn. Now the new system would like to take lessons from that experience. Instead of relying only on emergency instructions, the government has now laid down specific production levels for individual facilities. The government plans to review the production schedule every 6 months. Targets can change if new refineries or upstream facilities come online or if existing facilities increase their production capacity through new infrastructure or technology.